Okay, so this is a snatch comparison between Matt Bruce and myself. Matt and I got into a little friendly snatch off. Matt has been retired for a little bit, and I am far from retired. And so he agreed to do a little snatch off with me. What you're going to see here are some pretty subtle differences. What I mean by that is Matt's strong as an ox, and I look more like a bow and arrow. And so I really liked comparing the two, and I was looking at them earlier because you can see the number one, you can see the benefit of raw strength. Some of Matt's strength is obviously still stuck with him, and his speed is still there. So watch as we look at the setup. The setup's essentially the same. Shoulders slightly in front of the bar. Mine are a little farther in front of the bar than his. I think that's due to length of torso. But hips slightly above the knees. Weight, in the middle of the foot, near the ball of the foot. Both as we push off the ground, let's look at Matt first so you can see how it's done right. Both as you come off the ground, his back angle stays consistent. Notice the bar is moving back as the knees move back. So it initiates with a nice hard push, like he's leg pressing the floor away from him. And then the knees shift back and the bar comes back and shifts back with him. And then he's at this hang position. Notice a vertical shin. You can see the vertical shin right there by the angle of his ankle. Bars at the top of his knees, shoulders are in front of the bar. Back angle has been consistent from the floor up. Now, the opposite of that is you're going to see me come off the ground. Back gives just a hair. It's a little better set this time, but back gives just a little bit. So you can see some of that extension that I'm in right here give just a little bit off the ground right there. But you also see my butt rises, and I end up in this position where I've kind of shot my hips up, and my shoulders have stayed down. And what that's causing is my back angle to change pretty significantly. So I end up in this sort of compromised position at the top of the knee right here. Okay. What happens is Matt's in a position of strength. I'm in a position where I'm just constantly trying to recover back to a strong position. And then as we move from here to the hip, notice Matt's position here. I'm still not to the hip, so he moves to the hip much faster than me. I'm going to show you all that in a second. But as I get to the hip, right, notice that Matt's feet are flat, right? Shoulders are even with the bar. Knees have rebent under the bar. My feet are far from flat. So look at my feet, all up on the toes. Big bad habit of mine. I end up into the jump way too early. What this is going to do is decrease the height I'm able to produce on the bar because I'm not able to really jump the weight up. Not really able to push my feet into the floor and drive the weight up. And what you'll see is, watch this, as we get up nice and tall, both end up in a pretty similar top end position. All right, but watch watch Matt's bar moves way up here. So you can see in comparison to that red line behind him, how much higher the bar gets. His feet are flat and the bar is at his eyesight. And boom, he catches it just below parallel. The weight just sort of, he absorbs the weight right into the bottom and stands right up, no big deal. Okay, now watch me on the left here. Bar does not quite get to that red line, doesn't get the height that Matt gets. My feet land toes first. I catch it in the absolute bottom of the snatch, manage to sink in and absorb the weight a little bit, and just kind of have to be patient and catch the weight and get it balanced, and then I stand. Okay, so what you saw with Matt is the absolute strength he has allows him to keep his heels down and end up in a position of power right here. This is a pretty powerful position for Matt. All right, the bar gets much higher than mine, and when he lands flat-footed, and he's absorbing the bar a little higher than I am because of that height of the barbell. All right, the other thing I want y'all to see, and check this out, is how fast Matt gets his hip compared to me. So let's wait till the bar. There's the bar breaking the ground. I got this cool new app that allows me to see the time. Watch this. So he gets from the floor to the hip in 0.47 seconds. If you look at me, I get from the floor barely to my knee in 0.47 seconds. I'm not even halfway done with the pull to the hip by the time he's already at the hip. So it takes me a full third of a second longer to get to the hip than it does Matt. Now watch this. If we watch, so we'll set another timer. If you watch me, from the hip to the ground, takes me about 0.53 seconds, right? If you watch Matt, hip to the ground, takes him about 0.46 seconds. So he's another tenth of a second faster than me. His entire lift is completed from start to finish by the time he absorbs the bar right here in 0.94 seconds. And under a second, he's gone floor to absorption right here. Okay? Whereas it's taken me 1.26 seconds just to get to the bottom of the squat. Again, absolute strength leads to absolute speed. And so because Matt is incredibly strong, his speed is that much faster. Because I'm not as strong, let's go with not as strong, I'm always trying to catch up and almost always trying to make my way back to powerful positions rather than being in one from the beginning to the end.